Hey guys, this is Brownie Boy TB with the Litheo Battling Association Power Rankings number 2. These Power Rankings are being released following the round 3 and round 4 matches, so let's get into this. In first place with Walshians are at Freedom Yon. He's in the Alpha Division. In round 3 he had a 6-0 win against the Detroit Fencers, and in round 4 he had a 1-0 win against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He battled really well against Rudy, as you can see. It was a 6-0. He brought a choice banded Victini. That was just great game planning on his team on his part, because that Victini just ran train on Rudy's team. And then in round 4 he just had a really good. It was a little stally match against Cleveland Cavaliers or Bogut. It was really back and forth. It was a really good match. So you can check that one out on Freedom Yon's YouTube channel soon, I'd assume. In his upcoming matches, in round 5, he's got the New Orleans Shuckles, which is his first crossover match. That's against Ryan. And in round 6, he's got the New Jersey Magnums, who's Bryle. His team MVP so far is Talonplane with 19 points. His record's 4-0, and his differential is +10. In second place with the Portland Timbers, and I'm the coach of the Portland Timbers, and I'm competing in the Omega Division this season. In round 3, I had a 1-0 win over the Baltimore Bisharps, which is at 2015 Just or Riley. And in round 4, I had a 2-0 win over the Shield of Aegis, which is Kira. Both those matches were just really good matches. Both of my opponents brought really solid teams. Akira brought a really unique team with really cool sets, and he's struggling so far this season, but I think he'll be able to turn it around. And my upcoming matches, round 5, I have a crossover match against Cleveland Cavaliers, which is Bogut. In round 6, I have a really tough match against Nuclear Android or Pori Arcanines. My team MVP so far is Volcarona with 19 points. My record's 4-0, and my differential is +10. In third place, we have the Tennessee Raichus, whose coach is at ShadowChew36. He's competing in the Alpha Division this season. In round 3, he had a 4-0 win against the Toronto Star Raptors, and in round 4, he had a 2-0 win against San Antonio Shinx. Both battles, Shadow just brought really good teams. He knew what his win conditions were going into the match, and he just played around those, and he ended up just winning them. He's just really, really good at making really unique game plans that people don't expect. Completely throws them off. In his round 5 match, he's got St. Louis Rampardos, who's Jello. In round 6, he's got the Florida for Alligators, which is against Jody. His team MVP so far is Hariyama with 18 points. His record's 3-1. His differential is +9. In fourth place with the California Costas, whose coach is Texto. He's competing in the Omega Division. His round 3 match, he had a 3-0 win against New Orleans Shuckles. He battled really well against Ryan. It was pretty hacksy toward the end, and pretty much throughout the entire battle, actually. And it was just really back and forth, so it was a good battle. Just in the end, I think that hacks determined the match, but I think that had the hacks not happened, it still would have been a toss-up. In round 4, he had a 1-0 loss against Giovanni, who's Toronto Trianatars, and they both battled really well. Giovanni was just able to pull it out in the end. In his round 5 match, he's battling the Florida for Alligators, and in round 6, he's battling Chicago Flareons, which is Chucho. His team MVP so far is Magnezone with 16 points. His record's 3-1, his differential is +7. In fifth place, we have the Pori Arcanines. His coach is at Nuclear Android. He's competing in the Omega Division also. In round 3, he had a 5-0 win against Chucho, and in round 4, he had a 3-0 win against Kelly, or the Baltimore Braviaries. Nuclear is just same old Nuclear, just playing really, really well, playing really smart Pokemon, and he's a really great battler, and I'm not surprised to see him doing this well so far in the season. His upcoming matches, in round 5, he's got the New Jersey Magnums, who's Bryle, and then round 6, he's battling the Portland Timbers, which is myself. And his team MVP so far is Metagross with 20 points. His record's 3-1 with a differential of +10. In sixth place, we have the LA Noodle Kings, who's our former first place team. Their coach is at JJD Hernandez, and he's competing in the Alpha Division. In round 3, he had a 4-0 win against Corey, or actually Milan. And they both battled pretty well that game. It's just that JJ made the correct predictions at the right time, which ended up winning him the game. And in round 4, he had a 3-0 loss against the Toronto Star Raptors, who have recently got a new coach, but I'll get into that in a minute. The upcoming matches for him, in round 5, he's got the Jubel Relicants, who's Nasser. In round 6, he's got San Antonio Shinx, which is Chris. His team MVP so far is Gyarados with 12 points. His record's 3-1 with a differential of +10. In 7th place, we have the Surrey Litheo, or at Tipster Jones, which is Matt. He's competing in the Omega Division this season. In round 3, he had a 2-0 win against St. Louis Rampardos, which is Jello. In round 4, he had a 4-0 win against Jubel and Relicants, which is Nasser. He just battled really well in both his matches. He's been battling well pretty much all season. He only had that one slip up against me in round 2, but other than that, Matt's just battling extremely well, and I expect his record to just keep skyrocketing, honestly. In his upcoming matches are round 5, he's battling Toronto Star Raptors. In round 6, he's battling Toronto Trianatars. His MVP so far is Azumarill with 16 points. His record's 3-1 with a differential of +6. In 8th place, we have the Riot of Rhydons. His coach is at Jude Justice, or Ab. He's competing in the Alpha Division this season. In round 3, he had a 4-0 win against New Jersey Magnums. In round 4, he had a 1-0 win against Actually Milan. His battle against Corey, or Actually Milan, is actually going to be highlighted on the Litheo YouTube channel as the game of the week for this round. His upcoming matches are round 5, he's battling against Riley, and in round 6, he's battling against the Toronto Star Raptors. His team MVP so far is Dragonite with 19 points. His record's 3-1 with a differential of +6. In ninth place, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, whose coach is at Sandra Bogut. He's competing in the Alpha Division this season. In round 3, he had a 3-0 win against the Florida for Alligators, and in round 4, he had a 1-0 loss against the Welchians. Against Jody, he was just able to outbulk Jody's team. Jody just couldn't really break down his walls, and then in round 4, he couldn't do the same to Freedom Yon. From when I watched the battle, that's what I determined, but I'm sure you'll see Freedom Yon's perspective on the battle on his YouTube channel soon. Upcoming matches, he's in round 5, he's battling the Portland Timbers. In round 6, he's battling the San Francisco Darkrise. His team MVP so far is Bisharp with 17 points. His record's 2-2 with a differential of +2. In 10th place, we have Actually Milan, at Corey Brown 48. He's competing in the Alpha Division this season. In round 3, he had a 4-0 loss against LA NATO Kings, and JJ just made a nice play at the end of the game that ended up winning it for him. And in round 4, he had a 1-0 loss against Ryder Rydons, and that was just a really back and forth match between him and Ab. In round 5, he's battling Kelly or the Baltimore Braviaries, and in round 6, he's battling Detroit Pincers. His team MVP so far is Sharpedo with 16 points. His record's 2-2 with a differential of +9. In 11th place, we have the Florida for Alligators, whose coach is at Jody AMB. He's competing in the Alpha Division this season. In round 3, he had a 3-0 loss against Bogut, and in round 4, his match hasn't actually been played yet against San Francisco Darkrise because the San Francisco Darkrise coach hasn't found his DS lately or something like that, and we're really just waiting on him. If he doesn't get his match done by Saturday, then he's actually going to be out of the league due to the amount of forfeits that he'll have accumulated, just with the rules of the league. That way teams don't get postponed too long. So we're going to be looking for a replacement by Saturday night if he hasn't battled that by then. In round 5, he's got a match against California Caracostas, and in round 6, he's battling Tennessee Raichus. His team MVP so far is Darmanitail with 16 points. His record's 1-2 with a differential of -1. And in 12th place, we have the San Antonio Shinx, who's at Son of Dragon 17. He's competing in the Alpha Division also. In round 3, he had a similar situation with San Francisco Darkrise, and in round 4, he had a 2-0 loss against Tennessee Raichus. Shadow just brought his same trickery, and he was just able to beat Chris at the end of the game with a Trick Room Dustclap switching into Hariyama, and Hariyama was just able to clean up shop from there. On round 5, he's battling the Shield of the Aegis, which is Kira. In round 6, he's battling JJ, or the LA NATO Kings. His team MVP so far is Greninja with 13 points. His record's 1-2 with a differential of -3. In 13th place with the Jabel Relicants, whose coach is at Nasser, and he's competing in the Omega Division this season. In round 3, he had a 3-0 win against the Toronto Tyranitards, which is Giovanni, and that was actually a forfeit. That match had to be forfeited because Giovanni brought his right team, but he didn't bring the Mega Stone on his Garchomp, and he drafted Mega Garchomp, so he used an illegal Pokemon. So he had to forfeit 3-0, and then in round 4, he had a 4-0 loss against Surrey Litheo, which is Matt. That was just a really good battle, and Matt was able to pull it out in the end. I think it was like a 62-turn battle, and it's a 4-0. It was pretty crazy. In the upcoming matches for Nasser's round 5, he's got the LA Noto Kings, which is the guy who was previously in first place in the first power rankings. And then in round 6, he's battling Baltimore Bisharps, which is Riley. His team MVP so far is Hitmonchan with 9 points. His record's 2-2 with a differential of -2. In 14th place, we have the St. Louis Rampardos, or at Jello Hot Dog W2F1. He's competing in the Omega Division this season. In round 3, he had a 2-0 loss against Surrey Litheo, and in round 4, he had a 2-0 win against the Baltimore Bisharps, so he was even for this round of games. His 2-0 loss against Matt just played really, really well and was able to just beat him in the end. And then in round 4, Riley and him, they actually had like a DC and a bunch of issues, but altogether, I felt like the result was pretty fair. Jello played really well, and his Porygon Z was able to do a lot of work for him in that battle. In round 5, he's battling the Tennessee Raichus, and in round 6, he's battling Kiro. His team MVP so far is Mega Tyranitar with 27 points. His team record's 2-2 with a differential of +3. In 15th place with the Baltimore Braviaries are at Under the Radar YT or YouTube, and that's Kelly. He's competing in the Omega Division. In round 3, he had a 1-0 win against Kira, Shield of Aegis, and that was a really good battle. It was really cool to watch because they both bring like weird Pokemon and weird sets, so that was fun to watch. In round 4, he had a 3-0 loss against Poryarch 9s, and Grail just does what Grail does, and that's win. In the upcoming matches for Kelly is round 5, he's got Actually Milan or Corey, and then round 6, he's got the New Orleans Chuckles, which is Ryan. His team MVP is Typhlosion with 25 points. His record's 2-2 with a differential of -2. In 16th place with Toronto Star Raptors, whose coach is now Vertilet. Their coach used to be Hitman Sam 91, but due to some personal issues, he had to drop out of the league, and Vertilet had asked to be a substitute for the league before the season even started, before tryouts were even over. So he's a close friend of mine, so I was more than happy to give him the spot. So he's coming into a pretty good team because Sam drafted well, in my opinion, and Sam wants to try to come back next season. We'll see what he's able to do with that because he did have to withdraw due to personal issues. But so we'll see how Vertilet is able to cope with this team. So He'll be competing in the Alpha Division for the remainder of the season, and I would go over the slide and looking at his team and stuff and the way that they did, but nothing, like, it's pretty irrelevant due to Verdelate just now taking over the team, so we'll move on. In 17th place, where the Toronto T-Tards are at Poke Profiles, he's competing in the Omega Division this season. This is Giovanni. In round 3, he had a 3-0 loss against Jabal Relicants, and that was the item clause forfeit because of the Mega Garchomp that I went over before. In round 4, he had a 1-0 win against California Caracostas, which is Texto, and that's a great win for him. Texto was on a roll in the league, and Giovanni was able to beat him, so that's a great win for him. His upcoming matches, in round 5, he's battling San Francisco Darkrai, which is the person that we've had the issues with lately because he can't find his DS or something like that. And in round 6, he's battling Litheo, which is Matt or Tipster Jones. His team MVP so far is Jordan Cut 7 points. His record's 2-2 with a differential of -7. In 18th place, where the Baltimore Bishops are at 2015 Justin, this is Riley. He's competing in the Omega Division this season. In round 3, he had a close 1-0 loss against me, and then in round 4, he had another close loss. This was against Jello or the St. Louis Rampardos. Riley's been battling pretty well this season. I think he drafted better this season than I've ever seen him draft. I've competed in a few leagues with Riley, so it'll be fun to see how he's able to turn this team around because I honestly think he'll be able to. In his upcoming matches, in round 5, he's got to battle Ab, and in round 6, he's battling Nasser. His team MVP so far is the MVP for the entire league and for Omega Division with Jolteon at 31 points. His record's 1-3 with a differential of -1. In 19th place, the Chicago Flareons are at G-Chucho 13. They're competing in the Omega Division this season. In round 3, he had a 4-0 loss against Grail, and in round 4, he's battling Ryan. They haven't been able to battle yet because Chucho had some health problems, and they just had all-around scheduling conflicts, so I have no problem letting that match be postponed. In round 5, he's battling Rudy, and in round 6, he's battling Texto, so those will both be tough matches for him. It'll be interesting to see what team he brings and how he tries to use it. His team MVP so far is Gardevoir, or Mega Gardevoir rather, with 6 points. His record is 1-2 with a differential of -2. In 20th place, we have the Detroit Pincers at Green Scrafty. This is Rudy. He's competing in the Alpha Division this season. In round 3, he had a 6-0 loss against Freedom. Freedom just brought a Choice Band to Victini, and it was just tearing through Rudy's team with V-Creates, and there wasn't too much he could really do about it. I think that if he would have brought a different team, he would have had a chance, but that's just my opinion. And in round 4, he had a 1-0 win against New Jersey Magnums, which is Bryle. That's Rudy's first one of the season. It was a really good battle. It was really back and forth. They both made really great plays. It was a really fun battle to watch. In round 5, he's got Chucho with the Chicago Flareons, and then round 6, he's battling Corey. His team MVP so far is Keldeo with 6 points, who he just dropped, so I'll have to update that by the time that the next power rankings come through. His record's 1-3 with a differential of -11. In 21st place, we have the New Orleans Chuckles are at R Hunter N, who's Ryan. He's competing in the Omega Division this season. In round 3, he had a 3-0 loss against Texto at the California Caracostas. I already went over that one. And then round 4, his match is postponed with Chucho, which I also already went over. His upcoming matches, round 5, he's battling Freemion, who's the #1 guy in the league. So Ryan's going to have to battle really well if he wants to try to get a win there. And then in round 6, he's battling the Baltimore Braviaries, which is Kelly. And those two have battled many times, so that'll be a fun battle to watch. His team MVP so far is Gengar with 7 points. His record's 0-3 with a differential of -7. In 22nd place with the New Jersey Magnums, who's at the Effect 09 or Bryle. He's competing in the Alpha Division this season. In round 3, he had a 4-0 loss against Ab, and in round 4, he had a 1-0 loss against Rudy. Bryle started out the season pretty rough, but he's definitely getting better in my opinion. I think he's starting to understand how this league works, and he's making the right additions and drops to make his team better. In round 5, he's battling Nuclear, so that'll be a tough test for him. And then round 6, he's got Freedom, so he's got 2 really just powerful opponents upcoming. So it'll be tough for Bryle, but I think that if he battles well and brings a really good team, then he'll stand a good chance. His team MVP so far is Jordan Heat with 5 points. His record's 0-4 with a differential of -14. In 23rd place, we have the Shield of Aegis, or Kira, who's at Shining Kalos. He's competing in the Omega Division this season. In round 3, he had a 1-0 loss against the Baltimore Braviaries, and in round 4, he had a 2-0 loss against me. In both those battles, he didn't battle poorly at all. He's definitely coming around in the league, and he's a great battler, and I know that he doses stuff. He's running good teams, he's running smart sets, and really unique things for this league. So I know that he's going to be able to turn around and rack up some wins. It's just a matter of time for him, honestly. In round 5, he's battling Chris. In round 6, he's battling St. Louis Rampardos, which is Jello. His team MVP so far is Landers T with 11 points. His record's 0-4 with a differential of -9. And then 24th place with San Francisco Darkrai, who's at Main 3 Spider in the Alpha Division. He just hasn't battled in round 3 or round 4 yet. He said he lost his DS, so he has to find that really soon. Otherwise, you're going to be kicked from the league, and we'll just be looking for someone else. Which we have people lined up to take over a spot from the tryout tournament, so that's not that big of a deal. But it just has to be done sooner than later. That way, people have time to get their team ready, and they're able to compete in the league without falling too far behind, because it's just unfair to them. So that's everything from the LBA Power Rankings number 2. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and keep in mind that I'm going to start uploading the games of the week from the LBA immediately on the Litheo region channel, so be on the lookout for that. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. I'll see you next time.